That's okay. That's okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's that time. If you're in the back still getting food or if you're buying raffle tickets, this is the last call. We're going to start our second raffle here in just a moment. So we'll give you about 10 seconds to get back to your seats, and then we will start pulling numbers.
Perfect.
Where's Maria?
She's coming.
Okay.
Right there. She's coming. She's coming.
All right, this is the time. Here we go. Robert and Maria.
And Cordell. And Cordell, my future son-in-law. Woo! Man, I was standing up here for a long time just staring at you guys. You guys were staring at me. You're like, who's that cholo up there? You know? But it's all right. The Lord forgave this cholo. Raider fan, he forgives me. Cholo, he loves me. Latino husband, he loves me. Number one husband, yeah. All right, guys, I'm ready. I'm excited. I want somebody to win, okay? And we're going to do the Richard Nixon Library Museum tickets. All right, here we go. My wife was saying that I was speaking too fast last time, so I think I'm going to do this a little bit slower. 8, 0, 3, 5. She even tells me. She has to tell me the number. 2, 7, 803 527. We got a winner? Woo! Yeah! All right, we'll take it to you. Cordell, you want to take it to her? Yeah, take it to her. Here you go. We'll wait till he comes back. Was that slow enough or was I too fast again? Good? Okay, some say good, some say no. All right. Can't win, right? Can't make everybody happy, but I'm trying. I got to make her happy because if I'm in trouble, if I don't. Okay, next one. We're going to do the His and Her Bath and Body Works. Yeah, that's what I want. Okay, here we go. White ticket. Number 186950. 1869501. Going once. Going twice. Back there. All right. Finally, the back table. Yes. Nosebleed seats. They win. Woo! So, my wife tells me, you need to read this one. And I'm so obedient, I listen to her all the time. Let's Roam Scavenger Hunts. This is a date night raffle. 2 tickets, date night scavenger hunt. And you get 10 tickets for a group scavenger hunt. So if you, sponsored by, I don't have my reading glasses, and she goes, read that little tiny writing. Anyways, whoever the sponsor is, thank you. Thank you very much. By Let's Roam Tours. If you guys don't have 10 people for your group, we will be the extra 3. Okay, so here we go. Did you shake that up? Wow, wow. Blue ticket. You got a winner? Woo! That's what I'm talking about. All right. Man, we got to get lively here. Come on, guys. Let's go. Let's go. We got to, well, I won't say what we got to do. But anyways, here we go. 557. 557 046. Woo! Yeah, all right. Mr. Ryan Schuler. I love it. Date night. The last one is going to be the fall basket. Look at that fall basket. It's nice. Cordell, pick it up. Turn a little bit to the side with it. There you go. Turn the other way. Turn around the other way. Do one big turn. All right, here we go. I don't know. My ask is there pumpkin spice in there? There better be. It's a fall basket. Okay, here we go. Let's shake that up. Dick, Tony, I want you to win this one, okay? You got a white ticket? And it's a white ticket. Okay. Oh, I got to slow down. She says, I'm yelling too loud. And it's a white ticket. Okay. 186950. Same people? That's not fair. We got to throw it back. Yeah? Well, this is 02. 1869502. Same people. Wow. Fixed. Go. You guys, I'm kicking you guys out this year, okay? Next year, we'll get bring new people up here. Thank you very much.
Hi there. My name's Paul Simmons. I'm a grateful disciple of Jesus Christ and a former volunteer at Come to Him Ministries. I had the lucky opportunity to run in James Chambers when I was moving over from a different faith background into a new training program at Eastside Christian Church called Men's Ministry. And it was a 24-week program, and I got to sit next to him that whole time. And afterwards, he started a Bible study, and I learned a lot from James in that time. One of the things I learned is be careful who you sit next to at different events, including tonight, because you don't know what you're going to be volunteered for. And that's what I'm speaking about tonight, is volunteering. Several years after that, James asked if I would consider being on the board for Come to Him Ministries. And I said, so what does that entail? I want to know before I commit, right? He goes, well, we need to get the agenda and corporate minutes taken care of, and we also need to do budgeting. We need to get on top of that. So I sat in for about 6 months, and we started to talk about budgeting, and I found out why we didn't want to look at budgeting, okay, because it was tough. It was hand to mouth. And I was talking to Kay just a moment ago about the number of times that Jay was getting the money from the checks, putting them into the bank, and running down to the utility companies paying things before they were turned off. So this ministry starts with very humble beginnings, but with very competent, committed Christians. And so it was nice to see that. On that first board, those simple things we did, I've been following the ministry since then, and I've seen that they've done great things. It's just fantastic to come back here tonight and see this event at this scale. It's absolutely amazing. But even in the next board that was there after me, I said, how come we didn't do that? You know, and I realized that every board rests on the shoulders of the previous board. Every volunteer rests on the work of previous volunteers. None of it is done on its own. So it's always a growing process when you got committed believers such as yourself to be involved. When I first started talking about doing this little thing on volunteering, I thought, okay, what's volunteering? You know, give up our time, talents, and treasures, and also giving of ourselves. And it's other than just giving money, it's giving that time and talents. But I landed on something from a sermon I heard a couple weeks ago, and it's more than that. And the sermon was about volunteering, serving. And it first started with, Jesus said, I came to serve, not to be served. And that's what we're called to do, is to serve, not to be served. And that's what the people that are here tonight with this ministry are doing, and you're here to support it. That's a fantastic thing. The other thing he said was, it's in the going that God will do the showing. And he also said, to shorten it up, was that if you go, he will show. And I said, that's cool. That's kind of like, if it doesn't fit, you have to quit. So I thought, okay, that works. But he also said, it's in the doing that you gain understanding. And I thought about, for me, just like that thing, that ministry, when I came back and saw what the board was doing next, I realized what we were doing was foundational. This is the next thing. And every time that I volunteered, things have been revealed to me that I had no idea. When I was 19 years old, working down in Mexico, building a house, it turned to be 5 o'clock, it was in the winter, and it was getting dark out, and we had about an hour left. And I said, well, turn on the lights. There's no lights, okay? It had some kerosene lamps. I go, I see San Diego. It's lit up like a birthday cake, okay? But there we are, okay? Another trip down there, we only had 6 guys, and we normally built with about 12, so we hired 2 Mexican guys for the day to help us out. The grand total was $20 total to help these guys, to help us build a house. It was about 100 degrees that day, and I said, hey, ask those guys, because I didn't speak Spanish, I said, ask them if there's some place around here for lunch we can go that has an air conditioning. Okay, so the guy speaks Spanish to the worker, okay, and the worker says back, and my buddy laughs. I go, what did he say? He said, you'll be lucky if they have a window and it's open. Okay, that's when it revealed to me, they're not dumb. They just had the experience of being born 120 miles south from where I was born. Okay, they were very smart. Those guys were older than I was at that time, and they worked twice as hard for that $10 a day. So every time that I've gone forth and I've volunteered, things have been revealed to me. Things have been shown. So there's just a couple things in closing I'd like to say about volunteering. It's not all about what it's going to be that you have to do. It's what's going to be shown to you. What's going to be revealed to you? What are you going to come to understand? Okay? And I'll use a recovery term because they're so handy for things like this. And it's be willing to be willing. Be willing to find out, is this something? Because it's easy to say, I don't do that. Okay? First time I went to Mexico, I'm a computer guy. If there wasn't, computers, I'd be on the side of the road with the sign. Okay? But computers were big in my life, and I allowed to make that a career, okay? So I'll go down to Mexico. I don't know anything about construction, okay? But I found out I can anticipate. I know when they're building the walls, they're going to need plywood for the sides. I know when they're building the roof that they're going to need felt and they're going to need tiles to be on top. So even though I didn't understand construction, I could be there and do something. I was the king schlepper. I moved things from one place to another. I wanted to be one of those guys with the big belts and all the tools on it, but it just wasn't my role, okay? So if there's a role for you, if you show up, they'll find a place for you in any ministry, including this ministry. So it's those things that have blessed me more than I can even imagine when I've done volunteering, whether it's for the day or for a longer period of time. How much time do I have? 0. Okay, I had one funny story, but I'll save it for my table. Thank you very much.
I want to thank you all for being here tonight. It means a lot to me, just a lot, so thank you. And we get now to hear about the residents from their hearts, the people that God has brought to us, that we've had the privilege of walking alongside and getting to know. This is Jesse. Jesse came to us literally a year ago because his first weekend, he had to come to the last event. And he was blown away by what he saw because he didn't really know what he was getting into. But being at the recognition event last year, he was glad he was here. So he's going to share his story.
Thank you. I've noticed nothing's for free. You got to give to what you take. I've been probably homeless for now 2 years now, and I know what it's like to help people, to have them tell you no, not as far as lending a hand, giving me a hand and help. It's just, they just don't want to be around you. But you still have to help because it's in your soul to help people in what you got that's in front of you. I was a paramedic for LA City Fire. I had my condition where I've seen my blood and guts, and I got definite, flashback memories, and it's pretty bad. That's what really put me here. And it was a bad situation, but I'm still alive, suicidal twice, tried to do myself in, couldn't do it. So Kate, Come to Him Ministries have really showed me the way is up, not down. Always look up, be positive, and it'll be there for you. God will be there. Okay. I'm sorry? Oh, yeah.
It's up to you.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
I was diagnosed 6 months ago with colon cancer, stage 3, and I have, now I'm getting leukemia, and that's becoming a big problem with the bone marrow. And, everything that's going at it is just, doctor told me to go home and just think about what I just talked to you about. He doesn't know what to do. So I'm just going, okay, well, if he doesn't know what to do, I don't know what to do, so just relax. He'll come up with something. And please pray for me. I'll pray for you. And everybody here, I love you. And it was a great summer. And I need to get back in the water and start surfing.
Next, we have Sarah, and she's been a pleasure to get to know with her sweet self. So this is Sarah.
Hi, I'm Sarah, and I just wanted to start off with Psalm 22:24. For he has not despised nor abhorred the affliction of the afflicted, nor has he hidden his face from him, but when he cried to him, he heard. I am single, I'm not married, I don't have any children, I'm turning 30 this Thanksgiving. I currently work at Chick-fil-A in La Habra, and I love the beach, reading, singing, and graphic design. I went to Calvary Chapel Bible College, and my love languages are physical touch, words of affirmation, vanilla iced coffee, and orchids. And I just wanted to thank you all ahead of time for patiently bearing with me as I give my testimony, because it might sound a little all over the place. So I'll do my best to communicate it. So my parents divorced when I was about 7 years old, and I saw why God hates divorce. My mom is Filipino, my father is European, and he owned a small roofing company, but it fell apart because of the divorce, drugs, and adultery. He eventually became a truck driver later, which he spent the rest of his life doing until he was found lifeless in his truck in 2020 of COVID. My oldest brother went from self-proclaimed Satanist to professing Christian to agnostic. My younger brother has been in and out of jail, and he enjoys being homeless. My half-sister is my only sister, and I love her deeply, though she walked away from God and then me. And my youngest half-brother is autistic. He's one of my best friends and the apple of my eye, and vice versa. And he is so smart, he would have had Einstein and NASA scratching their heads. And he'd run around, not in circles, but octagons to the third power. So we grew up in the worst kind of spiritual darkness. We lived in homes infested with cockroaches. My dad, he gambled his rent money, and my mom spent money on perfume and jewelry instead of groceries. My mom hated God and would be gone for weeks at a time with different people. I had no idea where she was. My father was mostly absent, but he would visit time to time. We went to church sometimes when we were kids, but after they divorced, it was like the sun stopped shining in the sky and all the lights in the world were shut off. God was not welcome, and Satan definitely took advantage. I grieved as a child without understanding that I was grieving, and my body and my brain kept score. Childhood was witnessing all kinds of pornography and lying, fighting till 2 a.m., alcoholic rages, drug addicts, moving from city to city, different arrests, different hospitalizations, different exasperations, squalor, hunger, anorexia, fear, sexual immorality, bulimia, violence, and demonic possession, and I don't say that lightly. And I often get asked if I was raised in a godly home, and I definitely consider that a very good compliment to me. My dad said that my mom was envious of me because I was his only daughter, and when I was born, he paid more attention to me than her. And jealousy is the coolest things I've ever experienced in my 30 years of life. My father went to jail for beating her because he found her trying to strangle me when I was a little kid. And I didn't know until Christmas Eve when I was 19. That night, I cried until morning softly, trying not to wake anybody up and ruin their Christmas. As I got older, she would repeatedly say things to me like, I hope the house explodes with only you in it. You should go kill yourself. You're stupid. You're brain damaged. You're the reason why the whole family's messed up. I'm not your mother. You don't have a family. Everybody hates you. You're a cow, you're a lizard, you're the house, and I want you to suffer. You're only a problem. Your life is easy, and I clearly want you to know that I hate you. And she would say that to me every day when she came home from work, with a lot of cuss words in there as well. And then she would wonder why I get so depressed. She physically hit me, she threw appliances at me and spit on my face. My dad was standing there watching, and I told him, Dad, it's okay, they did that to Jesus too. I was hoping he'd say something, but he didn't, but I still love him anyways. She would often gather my things in trash bags and send them to the Philippines to show them how good of a person she was, and as a young girl, my dad would call me precious half the time and cuss at me the other, so it was very confusing. Hell was always there, but it fully broke loose after I became a Christian, and light came into the home, exposing everything. An experienced Christian friend of mine knows my case really well and said that it would have driven him or anyone crazy, and he understood why I am the way that I am. He said it was evident that Satan had me in his mouth, ready to swallow, devour, and digest me, but God Almighty in heaven, in his mercy, shut his mouth from doing so. There are things I had seen and endured that would disturb most people, and I won't mention all of it here. It's a reason why I have chronic PTSD, insomnia, mental disorders, and take medical psychiatric medications. And I have a few cross wires in my head. My Christian military friends, they said they felt for me because they saw the PTSD from miles away, as I had seen it so many times before in war veterans. Since childhood, my mom shoved drugs down my throat on one or more occasions, sorry, I said that wrong, to get me to shut up about the abuse and force me to go to sleep. I tried to commit suicide more than once to escape everything, and all my life, all I heard was, I hate you, and I don't really remember times where I heard I love you. I especially wanted to die when I found out that my grandfather abused his children and his grandchildren and did things my relatives will never tell anyone to the grave. He used to read the Bible to me. He was an ordained minister, and I sang gospel songs at his funeral that he wrote. As years went by, I found out more and more things that happened in the family, and I received even more hatred from them as well. I used to be jealous of other girls who had dads and brothers and families that loved and protected them. I just wanted somebody to speak for me, like spoken for. I didn't think anybody would ever want to marry someone like me with a past like mine or a family like mine, and frankly, I wouldn't blame them. In my lifetime, I've been drugged and gang raped and abused in every way. I still get disturbed sometimes when I look back at it. At times, I did feel like those things my mom said about me, nobody loving me, was true, and it was painful to carry those words in childhood, just as painful as a teen and adult. And every barren day and every sleepless night, I wished that I was never born. But God, he came and he turned my world upside down, and I finally knew what it was like to be loved. In his grace, he revealed himself to me, and I haven't been the same since, and nobody can deny that, not even my worst enemies. A new friend invited me to church, and I attended there like my life depended on it, because it did. My family despised me more and more because their conscience were pricked, and they ran out of someone to take their vengeance on. They ripped me out of pictures, threatened to bash my head, and wrapped cords around my neck and whispered in my ear, I would kill you right now, but there are children in the house. Yet God gave me grace to love them and pity them, because that's what he did to me. Though the pain and oppression was intense and persecution fiercer than ever, The joys of knowing God and getting to know him more preoccupied me so much that I had no time to hate them back, nor did I want to. I was just thankful that he didn't let them take my life and that I didn't take my own. I truly have been through many trials, toils, and snares. And though I sat in darkness, the Lord was a light to me, just like Micah said. I still battle daily, and I probably always will, but it's places and people like come to him that minister to the least of these like me, and nothing in my hands I bring, but simply to the cross I cling. And I learned sometimes the people who are the hardest to love are the ones who need your love the most. So come and behold him with me, and remember, while the world calls you trash, Jesus calls you treasure. Love, Sarah.
This is April, and to know her is to love her. She is one of the ones that has a resume in the back, so I'm sorry. That was it. You can still do it. Okay, I retract that part. Okay, here's April.
I'd like to thank God and the Academy, and of course my agent. I'm sorry, I couldn't resist because this will never ever happen again in my life. 2 people who I love and trust told me not to tell this joke, but 5 people said to tell it, so here we go. And one of them laughed really loud. Okay, what do you call a Filipino contortionist? A manila folder. Thank you. Did not write it, just so funny. Okay, I'm sorry. Thank you all for supporting us, not just tonight, but all through the year. There are anonymous benefactors who drop off food and clothing and shoes and all kinds of things that we really use and appreciate. Thank you, Deb and Sue, who are like mothers to us. Thanks to my mentor, Noemi, and my resume pro, Elisa. Thank you, Kathy Matthews. Hi, Kathy. She leads my Bible study and serves so many people in so many ways. It's so humbling to stand in your light, Kathy. Thanks to Bob and Nancy. Hi, Nancy. And Kay. Thank you so much. You're in the trenches for us daily. All of you are the salt of the earth and are shining examples, and I wish I had adequate words to express the gratitude I feel. And most of all, thanks to James, who answered the phone when I had nobody, and I'd be living under a bridge right now if it wasn't for him. I grew up in a secular family that broke apart because of alcohol. My father was a Buddhist, and my mother was Catholic, I think, but neither of them ever told us about God. When they separated, only my mother was raising us, and we pretty much were free range because she was working most of the time so she could feed and shelter us. My father never paid any child support. We lived in a studio hovel in downtown Long Beach. It was tiny and run down, and it was a block away from the First Baptist Church of Long Beach. We began to hang out there because they had a gym and all kinds of games and stuff for kids. I went to Sunday school for the first time there, and I memorized John 3:16, and I fell in love with Jesus. Jesus was the father that I ached for, and they did not whitewash anything. They said we would suffer if we followed Jesus, and probably we'd die for him if we became Christians. They took us to a movie about the end times, and they made it sound like Jesus would be back in a couple of weeks. It was thrilling and terrifying, but somehow, deep in my heart, even as a dumb little kid, I knew it was true. I agreed to be baptized, and it was the happiest day of my life. I remember it vividly. The glittering gold water that was somehow exactly the right temperature, and it didn't feel wet. The dancing motes of dust sparkling in the light, shining through the stained glass windows, and our pure white linen robes and matching underwear that were profoundly uncomfortable, and the incredible, bizarre joy that I felt. I could feel the Holy Spirit, and I was smiling like there was a hanger in my mouth. Not too long after, my mother found a 2-bedroom house far from the church. It was bigger than the studio, but not much better. I stopped going to church, but I tried hard to be a good Christian, which made me sort of a pariah. Well, more of a pariah. When I was 14, I tried to plot my way to college, which was the only way out of poverty and misery I knew. I knew I had to find a job and to pay for yearbooks and proms and clothes, but if I worked, how could I do the 5 hours of homework required for the AP program that I wanted to get into? I began to see that it was going to be almost impossible, and even if I did somehow manage to get through high school and into college, even if I did figure out how to pay for it, even if I did manage to graduate and get a career and buy a house, what was the point? Why bother if I didn't have my family? The answer that popped into my head was this: I had to kill myself. My life was not worth living. No, I was not drunk or high or even upset. I was calm. We were poor, and this was before Google, so my options were few. I could not afford a gun or drugs. I didn't even know where to get drugs or how many drugs I needed to take to die. I had a rope, but I didn't know how to tie a noose. Plus, I had asthma, and I knew how unpleasant it was to suffocate. I was really squeamish, so cutting my wrists was unacceptable. I'd pass out if I saw even a little bit of blood. It must have been the engine of the bus that was passing by, because I finally realized the easiest and fastest way was to walk to the end of the block and jump in front of one of the buses that passed by every 10 minutes. It would be messy, but instant. That was when I thought, what about the bus driver? Isn't it wrong to force him into my plan? And that was when Jesus appeared. As a child, I fantasized that Jesus would knock on the front door, not in a robe and sandals, but in a t-shirt and jeans and sneakers, because it was 1985. We would blend in, or he would blend in, but I would recognize my Lord and Savior. We'd play Scrabble and eat Pop-Tarts and drink Swiss Miss, and I'd ask him all about the mysteries of the world, like vampires, and if Bigfoot is real. And if Bigfoot is real, is he like a bipedal feral animal, or does he have a soul and intelligence to fly aircraft like, Chewbacca? And are UFOs ET spacecraft? Also, what is the deal with those giant rock heads on Easter Island? Stuff like that. But no, Jesus was like the sun. I could see his face, but he was exuding so much light, I should have gone blind. And I was speechless, in awe. He only said 2 things to me: I love you, and it will be all right. That's it. Nothing about Bigfoot. I could also feel his love, like when you're checking on something in the oven and you open the door and all that heat blasts out at you. Imagine that sensation, but it's not heat, it's love. You can physically feel how much Jesus loves you on your skin. It's so intense. I used to wonder, why me? Probably thousands of people a day kill themselves. A few years later, I became a communications dispatcher, and when suicidal people called 911, I always told them exactly what happened to me. I'd tell them, I don't know what you're going through right now, but I do know how it feels to want to die. But Jesus loves you more than you can possibly imagine. Whenever you are struggling, you are not alone. Call on him. Come to him. Thank you very much. And by the way, I'm looking for a full-time clerical job, and if I brought copies of my resume if you're interested. Thank you. Where do I go? Go back to the seat. This one? Yeah, whichever way.
Okay, so April's resume is back there. Our next people are different. We have a mother and daughter duo, and they're going to share their story. Son, what did I say? Daughter, I'm so sorry. I knew I would. Aaron, I'm so sorry. This is Aaron and his mom, Jan, and they're going to share their story together. Thank you.
Well, it's an honor to speak here for Come to Him Ministries. This is my first time sharing my testimony. I had a 10-year meth addiction. And so when I share that at work or people I know, they always tell me that they don't believe it. I clean up well. So I think it's best to walk you down through my addiction. In 2003, I had a great career. I had a pregnant wife. I had a home. And I started using meth. It got pretty serious pretty quick, and through my using, I remember stopping on several occasions and just thinking to myself, if you just stop right now, you won't lose anything. Well, eventually, through using, I lost the job, lost my wife, lost the home, and I didn't tell anyone what was going on, but they could see that my appearance had changed. They said, you're either using drugs or you have cancer. So I told them I was using, but I wasn't ready to get help. At some point, I did decide that I wanted to get help, so I went to a hospital in Orange. It was a 2-week hospital, and my insurance covered it. I got out of there and I started using again pretty quickly, eventually getting arrested in 2004. So they assigned me to a drug diversion, and that was difficult to complete because I was still using. So I then went to a 30-day ranch rehab. I think it was near San Diego. And when I got out of there, I was able to stay sober long enough to complete the drug diversion. So I think after I completed the diversion, I quickly started using. I remember appearing in court to where they're going to drop the charge, and I remember being high. It was difficult for me to speak then, and the judge asked me a question, and I told him it was difficult staying sober, but I thought for sure they knew that I was using, but left there, continued to use. And things continued to get out of control, so I decided to go to rehab again, Salvation Army. These are all probably within a year or 6 months of one another. So after being at Salvation Army, I think it was in Anaheim, I was there for probably 2 to 3 months. I decided I was good enough. So when I left there, my mom found Come to Him Ministries, and that's where I met James Chambers. And I remember being in there, and they had resources for me. So they had a relationship with the temp agency, and I remember going to work for, I would guess, about a month with the temp agency, and then I found employment myself, full-time employment. Well, I think after about 2 to 3 months there, I started using with another resident there, and we got caught. And I remember James approaching me and confronting me, and if you've ever met James, he has the softest eyes. When people approach you, you can really tell if someone approaches you out of love or other interests. With James, I could tell his heart was broken. So I left Come to Him Ministries. I'm going to guess this is around in 2005 or 2006. It's hard for me to put together the years at that time. So I went immediately to another sober living home in Anaheim. They were relaxed. They really didn't care. I remember being tested once. It took me about a month and a half to find another job. But I stayed at that sober living home using for, I would guess, 4 months. At that time, I was able to hold down a certain job where I didn't have to see people, and I decided to move out and rent a room. Well, eventually using meth really becomes overwhelming, so I went back into Salvation Army. I think I lasted there a month and a half again. And when I left there, I don't think it was long towards about 2009 or about 2008 where I still stayed in contact with James. And so the first time I was at Come to Him Ministries, we were at the La Habra House. This time, when I was coming out of Salvation Army, I hadn't been using, so they put me in the Whittier home. So just to touch on Come to Him Ministries, if you've ever gone through it, they really teach you the tools that you need that are going to serve you well. They really connect you to a relationship with God. And being a believer, I really needed those things instilled in me. And I got that from Come to Him Ministries. So when I was at the Whittier House, I didn't start using this time, fortunately, but I did get unemployment. It was towards the recession, so unemployment actually lasted 2 years. They extended it. And my ex-wife had married someone in Central Valley, near Merced, which is north of Fresno. So now that I had unemployment, I went ahead and moved. I moved to Merced. And apartment there was $500 a month, which was very cheap at the time. It's now $1,500. It's completely changed. But when I moved up there, my neighbor with the wall next to me was a meth dealer, so that started again. One thing I would like to touch on here is James Chambers kept in contact with me. He would call about maybe once or twice a year, and that was something different than I experienced from anyone else. So eventually, unemployment ran out, and I hadn't gotten a job. And I remember just telling myself, just stay sober for 3 days, go to the temp agency, you can test clean, and you can start making money, you can have your apartment. I couldn't even put together 3 days. And if I did have 3 days, my motivation changed to start using again. So then the best thing happened for me. My mom decided to not help pay my rent anymore. Believe it or not, that was the best thing. So I got a notice. They first told me that I had to move out because I didn't pay my rent. Using again. I had a very old car, but I had sold it. So I got about $1,800 from that. So I was using that for dope. So eventually I walk into the apartment and I have an eviction notice on my door. And that's why I say that's the best thing. So my ex-wife saw that I was having struggles, and she found a place called the Hobie House. It was a drug rehab. They had about 3 houses right next to each other, about 25 residents. It was a 6-month rehab. They contracted with the jail, so they get inmates coming in on a weekly basis, being transported by the sheriff's department or the marshals. And so I called them and said I wanted to come in, and they said, okay, go ahead and come in on Wednesday, and that was perfect. That was the day that I was being evicted. I remember getting on my bicycle with my luggage and riding across town to the Hobie House. So I checked into the Hobie House on January 16th in 2013, and I began my rehab there. It's one of those weird things that worked out really good for me. They thought I was a different Aaron because there was a waiting list. So they took me in and already gave me a bed and realized I was the wrong Aaron. Meeting the other Aaron later on, he was kind of glad because he wasn't ready to come in. So that worked out great for me. So in this rehab, so I had 2 choices, either be homeless, and I did not want to be homeless, or stay in the rehab. It was very important for me as I look back that I didn't have family support, that I needed not to have a place to go. So my options were the streets or was rehab. So after about a month and a half, they allowed me to ride my bike through town. Now, I'm 40 years old at this age, so it's very humbling. And I found a job at a temp agency, and they found me a full-time job. And if you've ever been in rehab before, some of you have, it is nice leaving in the mornings and being gone all day and then coming back in the evenings. It can really make the flow of your experience and the treatment you're getting, being away from the home. And then also being able to financially support. So one thing I decided in this rehab that I learned in Come to Him Ministries is devoting some of my time to God. So 6 o'clock was wake up time, and I decided to wake up at 5 o'clock every morning and devote my time to God. The church across the street had workbooks where you'd read a chapter and then you would answer some of the questions in there. And that's what I did through my entire rehab. And I want to make a point that I did not feel God's presence for the entire year. I remember there was no speaking, there was no emotion. I didn't have this joy that you have when you serve God. For the entire year, it was silence. There was nothing. But I knew that that was important to me. I knew I needed to stay in His Word. So eventually I graduated from there 6 months later, and I went to a sober living home. And if being 40 years old, being in a room with 4 other people, it is just irritating. I mean, being an adult, you wanna be by yourself. I remember at 2 o'clock in the morning hearing someone chewing Doritos, and I was so irritated. And I'm like, I gotta get out of here. So 6 months in rehab, and now I was 3 months in a sober living home, and it was a Christian sober living home. And I can tell you this much, they just wanted your money. They did promote Christ, but there wasn't that love that Come to Him ministry has. But it was an important part of my journey now of sobriety. So for about 10 months, I rode a bicycle across town. I've been living in the Central Valley now for 13 years, and the heat there is hot. It gets hot here too, so I remember riding this bicycle across town and just it being hot and just being humbling. But I was just so happy about being sober. And so eventually I found a room to rent. Rented a room for quite a while, I would say for 4 years. I was in no hurry to rebuild anything in my life. If I wouldn't have started using my career, I would have a pension after 25 years, but that's in the past and that's gone. My focus was to stay in the Word and to stay employed. I just knew that that God could restore those things in my life. And I was not eager to rush anything. I didn't date anyone for 2 years. I remember I committed to something similar to that. I said at least a year, but not a lot of women out there looking for someone renting a room just out of rehab. So to catch up to where I am today, I've been sober 10 and a half years. I do have to say that God took away any urges to use. It's been it's been easy being sober. As clockwork, every morning I sit down and I read 2 men devotionals. I read 2 chapters of the Bible, and I go over memory verses. I do this every morning before work. Sometimes I miss on the weekend if my routine has changed. I've noticed that, but when I have breakfast at home, that's what I've been doing, and I know that has been sustaining me. My son is 17-year-old. He's been living with me for the last 3 years. After that eviction went off my credit score, it took 7 years. My credit score's back up to excellent. And I remember James 2 years calling me and asking me if I'd be willing to come up here and speak, and I said no. I've done very well just staying in the Word like he's been teaching, like they teach you at Come to Him Ministries. And I've been hesitant to share my story. And I regret not saying yes because he did pass after that, because he deserves to hear how he impacted my life. I see what Come to Him Ministry is doing for the people going in there. A lot of them that they're taking in do not have the ability to provide for themselves with finances for quite some time. And that's where the donations come in. It helps support people who have been struggling for a long time. For the last 10 years, I've been tithing 5% to Come to Him Ministries, even though I live in the Central Valley. And it's because, not just because of James, it's because of what God's doing here, because the lives that He's changing. And even though I didn't get sober when I was at Come to Him Ministries, what I learned there was very important to what I applied to my life today. So, thank you.
So don't worry, mine's only 3 minutes long, but it was great to hear it because I have not heard a recap of his journey till tonight, but I was certainly part of it during those years. But about 5 weeks ago, Nancy met with me, and Kay, they actually emailed me to ask me to share about my experience with Come to Him because it's a realistic story, meaning that not everything goes according to our plans or as we had hoped. Of course, I had hoped that when my then 30-something-year-old homeless son entered the men's program, that it would be the key that unlocked his addiction and set him free, because after all, God is in the center of this ministry, and Aaron was a Christian. Well, truly God was with Aaron and with me, but as we know, his timing isn't always our timing, and he sees the big picture. He has a purpose and a plan in every trial. Throughout the 9-year-long journey, God was working in both of our lives. When Aaron realized that he needed help with his addiction, I contacted a pastor at my church who gave me James Chambers' name and phone number, which I passed along to Aaron. I don't have clear memories of my first encounter with James, but I do remember that in every encounter I had with him over the years, he exhibited humbleness and compassion and wisdom. He had a heart for those in need of deliverance and guidance, and he believed that broken lives could be restored. He knew that God had delivered him and that he had been called to begin this ministry. Over the years, from time to time, I would see James at different Starbucks chatting with a person who could use a helping hand and hope, and I'd feel so thankful for him and his ministry. I was relieved when Aaron entered the men's program, but then he was asked to leave after a short time. I know James was sad to have to tell me about it, and I was disappointed and scared for Aaron's next steps. I had to let go and let God, a tool I learned at my weekly Naranon meetings. The big question was, would I still trust God if things never worked out for Aaron as I hoped they would? Throughout the years of his addiction, my faith and relationship with God actually grew deeper. Where else is there to go for real help but to the one who created all things and loves us? During trying times, we are to run to God, not away from him. Besides praying for Aaron's deliverance, I only asked him for one other thing, that he would show me his hand every day, letting me know that he was in this. I can say with certainty that once I was able to lay everything down before God, my fears and hopes and dreams, that he was faithful to supply all my needs, including strength and peace. I learned to trust that he would provide all I needed, no matter what the future held. Well, you might be wondering why I've continued to support Come to Him after all these years when Aaron was a dropout. James was, and now Kay and Nancy and their team are, frontline workers in our needy local community. This ministry is a 24/7 investment of their time, and they do it with excellence. The work involved in this ministry was and is in good hands. Come to Him's purpose is to transform people's lives into a Christ-centered lifestyle, and sometimes they're used as a stepping stone, as it was for Aaron. God has done a work in me and in Aaron, and will work in all of us if we come to Him. Each year, the events like this one show the great redeeming work being done in Jesus' name and the amazing growth of this ministry. So thank you, Kay and Nancy and your team at Come to Him for all you're doing.
Aaron, thank you for your transparency and honesty. And I think I can say to you tonight that James knows your story. And thank you. Appreciate your testimony. What a great evening this has been. My name is Steve Janney, and I've been given the responsibility to wrap it all up in 5 minutes. Now, if you've read the program, it says final appeal. I turned 72 this year, and when you put the word final in front of my name, it gives me pause. So just to be clear, this is the final appeal that you will hear from Come to Him Ministries within the next 10 minutes. I will introduce to you tonight what I consider to be the most dangerous word in the world, and then ask you to do one thing. When I was in 6th grade at Orchard Dale Elementary School in Whittier, our teacher, Mr. Permeni, one day said, "Tomorrow, you will all get A's." Needless to say, myself and all my classmates were elated and excited about tomorrow. The next day came, we asked him about the A's. Mr. Permeni said, "You will get them tomorrow." Confused, we said, "That is today." He said, "No, today is today." After a few minutes of discussion, we got it. Tomorrow never comes. If your kids say, "I will do my homework tomorrow," or "I will clean up my room tomorrow," you know it probably isn't happening. I saw a sign in a hotel in San Diego that offered free beer tomorrow. Tomorrow is an undefined point where you store what you should but do not want to do. Just another word for no. Tomorrow offers false hope. Tomorrow gives a misleading promise on which to base your life. The sun will come out tomorrow. Tomorrow is another day. But the scriptures say, today, if you hear his voice, do not harden your heart. Today is the day of salvation. Today, this scripture has been fulfilled. Today, you will be with me in paradise. And then the warning from Proverbs, do not boast about tomorrow, for you do not know what a day may bring. The men and women you heard tonight did not need the Come to Him ministry tomorrow. They did not need the grace of God tomorrow. They did not need the love of Jesus tomorrow. Today is the operative word in the life of every follower of Jesus. So, now that we have identified the most dangerous word, what will I ask of you? I'm going to give you 30 seconds, and I would like you to ask Jesus the following question. Lord, what do you want me to donate to come to Him today? I'm not trying to guilt you into a response. I will not ask nor argue with whatever Jesus tells you. Zero to riches or anything in between. My appeal is today. Let the 30 seconds begin. Amen. Now, I am not one to ask you to do something of which I am unwilling. I ask God this question, and Nancy, here's his response. But don't open it until tomorrow. Your response tells me you understand the content of these last few minutes. Blessings to you all as we follow Jesus today. We're going to give you some time. There'll be some music. There's cards on the table. We'd appreciate it if you fill out the contact side so we can stay in touch. On the other side, there is a commitment. And I would encourage you to tell us what Jesus told you today. Thank you to come to Him. Thank you to the men and women who shared. And thank you to all of you who are willing to be involved for the sake of the kingdom.
When my heart is racing deep inside my chest, when I'm underneath the weight of anxiousness, when my fear is raging and I can't catch my breath, I will remember you are faithful still. Hold on 1 second. Did you change the key?
I did.
Okay.
Bad form, Rosalie. Sorry.
Continue to consider and pray and think about
forgot my
how you're going to donate today.
Yeah.
And we're going to start the song again.
We're going to rewind.
In the
and I'm
right
gonna
key.
Put the capo on and then try again.
Thank you.
Thank you for your grace.
When my heart is racing deep inside my chest, and I'm underneath the weight of anxiousness, when my fear is raging and I can't catch my breath, I will remember you are faithful still. You have carried me through deeper waters, walked beside me through the fire, faithful still. You have closed the mouth of bigger lions, conquered even greater giants. You've gone before me and you always will. You are faithful still. You are faithful still. God, you saw this long before I ever knew, and your peace is waiting here to see me through. My deliverance is only found in you, so I will surrender. You are faithful still. You have carried me through deeper waters, walked beside me through the fire. You're faithful still. You have closed the mouth of bigger lions, conquered even greater giants, gone before me and you always will. You are faithful still. You are faithful still. I have a hope, I have a future. I'm a child of the mountain mover. I have a hope, I have a future. I'm a child of the mountain mover. Faithful, I have a hope, I have a future. I'm a child of the mountain mover. I have a hope, I have a future. I'm a child of the mountain mover. You are faithful still. You have carried me through deeper waters. You've walked beside me through the fire. You're faithful still. And you have closed the mouth of bigger lions, conquered even greater giants. You've gone before me and you always will. faithful still. You are faithful still. I have a hope, I have a future. I'm a child of the mountain mover. I have a hope, I have a future. I'm a child of the mountain mover.
So I see everybody smiling. They put the TV, but I come up here and they're upset. But you know what? Amazing testimonies. Oh my goodness. Amazing. You know, God is good. God is so good. And just hearing those testimonies, I just think about my life and think how good God has been to me, and you know, just amazing testimonies. Our God just loves us no matter where we're at. He loves us and continues to love us no matter what we've done, no matter where we've been. You know, He loves all of us. And everybody here, you know, it's awesome that you guys are all here supporting this ministry in whatever way, whether it's raffle, not raffle, donating time, helping. And I don't even want to know. But what I do know is that you guys are here and you guys are supporting this amazing ministry. And God knows your heart. And He knows the deepest parts of your heart. And it's just neat to see everybody here. And some of the young people here that me and my wife have gotten to have experiences with in short-term ministry, short-term mission trips, and some adults, and Andrew and Ryan, and my wife is going to tell me what to say, and you know, and if you know my wife, she tells us like everybody what to say. But yeah. But I just wanted to thank you guys. You know, I don't want to take too much time because if I come up, we'll be here like till next week. I'll be talking. She says that's the truth. She says. But so let's get started. Okay, we're going to do the raffle. We're going to do a Dell laptop computer. Okay? She'll shake it up. I'll try not to go too fast. I'll try not to go too slow. Did you get it from the middle?
I got it blue.
Okay. All right. All right. Here we go. Dell laptop computer. We said this number already. 556701. 556701. 556701. Going once. Anybody? I'll give you guys time because I know some of you have like 1,000 tickets. So. 556701. Anybody? Woo! Yeah! Yeah! All right, you can come on up and get your laptop computer. Come on down. Well, careful. Okay. So I heard that this winter there's supposed to be a lot of rain. I know el niño, la tía, el tío, the cousins, the primos, they're all coming down. And they're coming down and it's going to rain, they're saying. That's what they're saying. You got a kayak. man, you're going to be able to float away from the tias, tios, primos, tias, consuegros, neighbors. Those that know Spanish understand what I'm saying, okay? So for those that don't understand Spanish, when you have a get-together and you invite people over for a party, everybody comes. The neighbor, the aunt, the uncle, the cousins, it doesn't matter. Like, okay, I don't know you, but come on in. So, but here we go. The rain's coming, the raft. Here we go for a raffle. Oh, wait a minute, a kayak. 5, 5, 6, 8, 3, 1. 5, 5, 6, 8, 3, 1. Back table, yes. Woo! Go ahead and take it to her, Cordell. He needs help. You need help? All right, take it that way. It's coming. Wow, wow, wow. Okay. Okay, we got a little spec. Let me see. If your car is a BMW license plate 7777, you are blocking the road. No? No, that's you? Okay. Not true? Okay. Cheetah with cubs? Somebody have a cheetah with cubs? Alex Hitchman. Alex, there he is. Okay, we're going to do the TV now. Everybody ready? If you don't want it, I'll take it. You could donate it to me. All right, here we go. Five, 5, 6. 9, 7, 8. 5, 5, 6, 9, 7, 8. 5, 5, 6, 9, 7, 8. Who is it? Who is it? Yeah! Woo! We'll get it to you. We'll get it to you. All right, guys, so now we're going to do the gift card 1. I mean, that's pretty cool, too. The gift card 1, I think, is pretty cool. So a lot of people put their raffle tickets in for the gift card. Is that gift card? Yeah, that one. Gift card 1, this one. So, yeah. Oh, my goodness. What a night. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. You know, a lot of excitement, a lot of giving prizes away, reading numbers. I'm tired, man. Like, All right, here we go. Ready? 5, 5, 7, 3, 3, 3. 5, 5, 7, 3, 3, 3. Woo! All right. Card 1. All right, last one. This is the last chance. You're going to win. You got to win, Mijo. Okay, you know what? I'm going to choose the number. Oh, you already chose it? Oh, no. Can't. You can't. No, you can't. You got 2 numbers. Okay, hold it there. Hold it there. Hold the 2. Hold the 2 numbers.
You got 12.
Oh.
Okay, wait. Let's do this. Ready?
Okay.
Okay, pick a hand. There you go.
Okay, put that. I don't want to see that one. Put it away because that'll be fair. Okay. All right, here we go. All right. 803545. 803545. No way, not the same table. Wow, yeah, woo! Thank you for letting us come and do the raffle, guys. We appreciate it, and I'm glad that everybody was here and able to donate and spend some time with Come to Him Ministry. It's an amazing ministry. Just want to say thank you again.
Quick note of instruction, if you need help getting this home, if your car is not big enough, let us know and we'll help arrange to get it to your place. Secondly, the silent auction sheets have all been passed out. So if you got one, you'll head outside to pay for that. If you weren't sure, if you didn't get one, if you weren't sure and you thought you won, just go ahead and head to the tables. Also, if you have the cards and envelopes, you can hand them to the back there. They're waving back there, some baskets that you can head back there and drop those on your way. And Chris, we're going to ask you to come close in prayer.
Thank you all for being here with us and for supporting this ministry. May God continue to bless you and continue to bless Come to Him. Dear Lord, thank you so much for this wonderful evening. Thank you for all the testimonies. Thank you for everything coming together, Lord. But especially we thank you for the 19 years that you've been with this ministry. We give you all the glory, and we ask that you continue to bless the participants, the ones that are getting help. We ask that you continue to bless Nancy and all the management team. We ask that you continue to bless all the people that are supporting this ministry. May it all be to your glory. Amen. Have a good night, everyone.